I don't want to ruin anyone's marriage. I have a real love-hate relationship with Becky at the office. She loves to hate me. I've never figured out why. Unless she has some sort of class thing going on. Maybe she thinks that if she's dressed up and working in an office, she's better than someone who wears grease and ink-stained overalls to the store. Or maybe it's my hair tonic or deodorant. I have no idea. It all started on her first day of work. We pulled into the parking lot at the same time. And as we headed into the building, I looked her over and decided she might be a good bet option. I smiled at her and said good morning. And she gave me a look that said, "Fuck off, asshole." And that set the tone for the rest of our relationship. We worked at a small newspaper, Becky in sales and me in the print department. I ran the insert machine, so I had to drive to the newsroom several times a day to talk to the circulation manager. These trips would take me past Becky's desk, and I took some pleasure in smiling at her as I passed, and in making some comment. "Good morning, Becky. How does your hair look today?" Or maybe "That's a pretty dress, Becky. It looks good on you," or something like that. I knew my only response would be a scornful look, but that just made me do it more often. I wasn't trying to melt the ice or get through to her or anything. I just got to the point where I wanted to annoy her. Months went by, during which I took every opportunity to squeeze into her space, just to piss her off. Because of my mechanical background, I usually got a call anytime there was a problem in the office. They always wanted to know if I could fix the problem before spending a lot of money to call a plumber, electrician, or HVS company. Maybe a third of the time I was able to handle the problem, and I used that ability to pester Becky. There was a power panel next to her desk, and whenever I opened it, Becky had to put up with me being 2 feet away from her. 2 or 3 times a week, I would open the panel and pretend to be working on something, all the while having a one-sided conversation with her. "Good morning, Becky. You look nice today. I like your hair. It really emphasizes your face. Do you like hockey, Becky? The ABS are really good right now. If Socket is healthy and Roy can continue his streak, they'll be the favorites for the Stanley Cup. Ah, there it is. The loose wire, just tighten the set screw and viola. All set." I'd close the panel, pick up my tools and voltmeter, smile at her, say, "Have a good day, kiddo," and head back to the press center. I know it was childish, but I loved it. I met her husband at the company Christmas party. He seemed like a nice enough guy, and I wondered what she was like when she was alone with him. Due to the circumstances, Becky was forced to be almost polite to me, and I took the opportunity to poke around a bit. After being introduced to her husband, Brad, I struck up a conversation with him about how nice it was to work with Becky. Sometimes work can be just plain nasty, but even when it's bad, having someone like Becky around can make a big difference. She has such a sunny disposition that it's contagious. I don't know if he was standing there smiling and thinking, "Is this guy from another planet?" or if he had had enough of this garbage. But it didn't matter because it was a blow to Becky. I winked at her and walked away from them. Later that night, I passed her as I was leaving the men's room, and she was heading to the women's room. I smiled at her and said, "Meet me under the mistletoe." I got a nasty look and a one-finger greeting, and I said I'll take that as a no. Maybe next year, eh? I was adamantly unwilling to let her hurt me. The nastier she was to me, the kinder I was to her, of course. My politeness was actually sarcasm, but for now it annoyed her right. One cold and damp night, it was raining like a cat and dog. I came home from work one day and saw Becky still in the parking lot. The hood of her car was up, and I pulled up beside her and rolled down the window. Problem. I got this look on my face. Yes, I'm standing in the rain and the hood is up. What do you think? I got out of the car and walked over to her. I don't need your help. I have one person coming over. I'm sorry, baby. I can't drive off and leave a woman in distress on the spot. It's against the code. Code what code? Don't sweat it, it's a man thing. I noticed the problem as soon as I looked under the hood. There was a large blob of bluish-green corrosion on her plus terminal. I took the wire and made sure it was spinning. I made a big show of it, got a couple wrenches out of the trunk. Took the plus wire off, cleaned it, and put it back on the battery. I told her to get in the car and try the wrench. She started right up and I slammed the hood shut. She put the car in gear and drove off without saying a word. You're welcome, I shouted after the disappearing tail lights. Anyway, that gives you an idea of how Becky and I got along. The newspaper had 4 salespeople, and they spent most of the day on the phone, trying to sell advertising space to businesses. From time to time, the newspaper would hold a sales contest. And the salesperson who sold the most advertising space would receive a bonus. Becky's desk is across from Miranda's desk, and I have to pass between them on my way to the circulation manager's office. One afternoon in the middle of one of these sales contests, I was walking back to the press room when Miranda pushed back her chair, jumped up, raised her fist, and shouted yes. Becky asked what was wrong. After 4 months of trying to get to see John at the Argosy restaurant, I finally got to meet him one-on-one in person. I know I can sell him. Not much chance, Becky said. I talked to him 6 months ago, and he flatly turned me down. Any other time I would have kept going. But after Becky's words, fat chance. I just couldn't let it go. Miranda is one of those women who is very sexy and loves to flirt. She's 100% faithful to her husband, but doesn't mind messing around with you. But her most attractive trait, at least to me, is that she always wears high heels. It doesn't matter what she wears, suits, dresses, skirts, pants, or jeans. She's always in heels, and heels have always turned me on a lot. I called her Randy and flirted with her terribly. Hey Randy, I said, I know you won't want to have sex with me, but if you wear your highest heels and shortest skirt for me, for a week, I'll tell you how to hook up with John. You're kidding, right? No, not at all. I can guarantee it. If you can do that, you have a proposition. If he signs, I can even break my marriage vows and do him whatever he wants. Hey, with that incentive, I just have to help you out. When do you have a meeting? Tomorrow at 10. Put on your sexiest heeled shoes, shortest skirt, and try to sit so John can see a lot of your legs. And I'll do the rest. What can you do? I pulled my cell phone out of my pocket and hit the speed dial number. When I was answered, I said, Hey babe, how's the most attractive sister-in-law a guy could have today? Sure, I'm serious. If you want proof, just stop by my place tonight. Is he available? Let me talk to him. I looked at Randy and said, Show me your body, baby. She puckered her lips and I pretended to shut her. Hey, big brother. What's up? No, not calling about it. I need a favor. Sure, she's going to cost you a lot. Here's the thing, I just found out that some really hot chick I've been trying to get into my bed wants to do business with you. What? She sells advertising and you advertise. So do me a favor and do it with her. She has an appointment with you for 10 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Yes. No, I told her I knew one of the owners and that I put in a good word for her. Help me out, brother. Make sure she's grateful to me. Sure. On Saturday, yeah. I can do that. Talk to you later. I ended the call and put my phone back in my pocket. I smiled at Randy and said, You're in business, honey. You'll get business from him. But exactly how much is up to you and what you can offer him in terms of rates and such. He'll do me a favor, but he's still an intractable businessman. I was serious when I said, Put on your shortest skirt and most attractive heeled shoes. John is a foot lover like me, and showing him your gorgeous buttocks might distract him enough to give you the advantage. I should go, I've been away from the car too long. I looked at Becky. Not a bad shot, huh? And walked back to the press center the next morning. Randy wasn't at his desk when I went up to the circulation manager, but Becky was at hers. And I got a dirty look from her on the way to the office, and again on my return to the pre-press room. For some childish reason, those looks made my day better. I was setting up the bins on the insert machine when I saw all the other guys looking toward the back of the shop, turned around and saw Randy walking toward me, in the shortest skirt and the most attractive heels I had ever seen. As she approached me, she asked, "Is the skirt short enough for you?" 1 inch shorter, and you won't even need to put it on. Do you think you can handle seeing me like this for a week? I'm sure I'll be coping with something every night when I get home. You say the sweetest things. Will you buy me dinner? Not a question. As she walked away, leaving me with my dreams. I hated her husband for being such a nice guy, that she stayed faithful to him. 30 minutes later, as I was on my way to the office, I was intercepted by Becky, and she was furious. How could you help that cheating girl? That's cheating. We're having a contest right now, and you helped her. It's not fair. How could you do that? How could you help her and not me? It's simple, kid. She likes me and you don't. And I stepped away from you. Lunch with Randy didn't turn out at all like I had envisioned. After we ordered, she asked, "Why didn't you tell me about your brother a long time ago? And why didn't you tell me you were one of the owners?" No reason, and I only own 20%. I'm a silent partner and have no say in the running of the business. And I probably wouldn't have said anything yesterday if it hadn't been for Becky's smart remark. What do you mean? I told her about my relationship with Becky and how her fat chance remark had encouraged me to get involved in the business. Randy shook her head and smiled. You men can be so stupid sometimes. And what does that mean? I've noticed the way she looks at you when you're around. She wants to have sex with you so bad it's killing her, but she's married and doesn't want to be bad. On the other hand, she doesn't believe in herself that she won't be bad, so she's built this wall to keep her distance from you. If you really pushed, she'd probably give in. Since you're telling me this and pushing me towards her, or at least giving me directions, I guess that means I'm still not going to nail you. I didn't say you were good, did I? At that moment, the waitress came in with our food. We ate in silence, and after Randy put her plate away, she looked at me and asked, "So are you going to try it with Becky?" No. Why? Because if what you're telling me is true, she doesn't want to jeopardize her marriage. I'm not interested in ruining anyone's marriage. I don't mind chasing married women, but they should be interested in the game, or at least the fun of the chase. Oh my, who would have thought? There was a soft heart beating beneath that stern exterior. There was silence for a few moments, and then Randy said, "Your brother is quite handsome. It's strange to hear you say that. Is he fooling around? If he's fooling around, he's being very careful. If he got caught, Shelley would cut his balls off. What's the point of all this? Decided that making love would get you more business." No, not really. But if more business came from it, that would be great. So the sex I never waited for goes to John. Maybe he'll share it. What's this all about, Miranda? To get even care to explain. Last year, I caught my husband with his secretary. He and I had a long talk, and I sort of forgave him. But I told him that since he'd lost his way, I owed him. I told him that he wouldn't be completely absolved of responsibility until I had an affair. I never intended to have an affair, just left the threat of it over his head. But I've since changed my mind. But I don't want just any old affair. Since I'm only going to do it once, I want it to be memorable. I want my affair to be a threesome. I've been thinking about it for 6 months now, but I couldn't decide who to do it with until this morning. As soon as I saw your brother, I knew I wanted you and John to be my partners. I know I can have you, but can I have John too? Are you serious? Absolutely. Once and only once, that's the deal. I stared at Randy for a good minute pondering, then pulled out my cell phone and called my brother. Hey bro, is there a woman interested in you? I thought so, yeah. The lady was very appreciative. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. Hey, I'm calling about the fact that this lady happens to have a kinky side. She wants to thank both of us at the same time. Yeah, I remember. It's been what? 14 years. I wonder if she ever remembers us. I don't know, wait. I'll ask. I looked at Randy. When? Tonight after work. Where? At your place? Hey bro, how about my place tonight around 6? Okay, I'll see you there. I ended the call and put the phone away. It's a done deal, sweetheart. Are you going to name names when you tell your husband you're even? Good God, no. I'm not going to tell him we're even. I want the threat of me leaving him hanging over his head forever. Once and he'll never know. Exactly. Except it wasn't like that at all. Randy didn't realize she had a cheater living inside her until the first time she got what she wanted. She freaked out when John and I had sex with her at the same time. Before leaving my lodgings that evening, she had made a schedule of when she could be free for the next 3 weeks. That was 7 months ago, and John and I make love to her 2 or 3 times a week. The relationship with Becky has remained the same, although I've noticed that she watches me closely when she doesn't know I'm watching her. Randy told Becky that she actually slept with me, forgetting her John account. Randy told me that Becky would probably make a move on me in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I told her she better hope she was wrong. Why? Because I don't think I can handle both of you nonsense. On the nights you're not with me, you can be with her if you get really sick. You can share her with John or even take her with you on those nights when me and John get together. You won't mind. No, love, I wouldn't mind. In fact, it will give me a chance to try something else I want to do. What's that? I want to try it before and after having sex with her. Do you think we can arrange that? If you're right and she moves on me, I don't see any reason to say no. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised, Randy. Not one bit. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.